face is getting itchy from the pre. Oh man, dude, nothing hits quite like that beta alanine itch. Oh man, that just hits different. So this is my first day back in the gym after a 2-week break. I was out of town. I couldn't eat right, couldn't eat enough. I lost about 5 pounds on that trip over those couple weeks. I will definitely be weaker. It'll be good still. We'll still get a pretty decent pump. So I figured I'd just make a voiceover to kind of explain what I'm doing since I didn't talk during the actual workout. We're starting off here with some decline flies. This is really just the warm-up. I like to warm up my shoulders a lot before I do chest. I've had issues with shoulder injuries in the past. And I also have a pretty lengthy warm-up for just my hips. I do like legs and hip stretches every day, even on non-leg days, just because I have tight hips and issues with that. Alright, so our first exercise is going to be incline dumbbell. You want to start with more of your strength movements, the compound movement, of course. You could do flat bench if you want to. I actually don't flat bench right now. I have in the past. I've definitely done my fair share of maxing out on flat bench. I also do like incline bench, but I find that incline dumbbell, just on like a low incline, probably like a 20-30 degree incline at most, I find that that is what I feel the best on. I feel like I can get the greatest tension and I can progress the most. I also just love the movement. We're going to do a couple warm-up sets here. I think I started out, probably did a set of like 60s, and then some 70s, and then 75s, and then I think I work up to 80s. So I do warm up quite a bit, but I think that's really important for injury prevention. And I'm only doing really 1 or 2 working sets per exercise, 1 or 2 hard sets. Of course, those sets are usually always to failure. But the lower volume training that I've been doing this last few weeks, I've seen progress, and I feel like I'm seeing growth while doing that lower volume style of training. This is going to be the last set that I filmed here with the 80s. Notice my tempo while doing this movement. I like to keep this tempo for nearly every exercise, but I really control it on the way down. Not much pause at the bottom, but slow on the way down and then explode up. Just press as hard as you can to get up to the top. Not really any pausing at the top. As far as rep range for this, we're going lower, 6 to 8 reps, trying to hit failure by that 8th rep. And if you're getting more like 10 to 12, you could probably up the weight. Now we're going to go into a decline press. People hate on decline. I actually don't really have an issue with decline. I think you can build your lower chest without doing any decline pressing and only doing an incline with like flies and maybe some flat pressing in there too. But I feel like this one really hits my triceps. And I love this machine because it has constant tension on it as well. Same thing with volume on here. Probably only did 1, maybe 2 sets to failure. Now we're going back to flies, but these are actual working sets here, doing high to low. Of course, these are a movement that you focus less on strength, so higher reps, probably going to aim for 12 reps and then some extra cheating reps at the end of the set. It's not really a strength movement. You want to focus on the stretch, definitely. I try to bring my hands back as far as I can, just to stretch my chest out and then squeeze at the bottom. Especially for the first few reps, I like to pause at the bottom with my hands together, and then as the set goes on and you get weaker, you can kind of just cheat them, use a little bit of momentum. Now we're going to go into some close grip paused bench pressing. Notice my tempo here, really slow, controlled on the way down. I pause for a second at the bottom and then explode up. This is an exercise that it does train for strength. It is a strength movement. It's a little further in my workout, just because we want to hit chest before we move on to more of the tricep isolation stuff. And you'll notice that I fail here. I do like to use a spotter for this one. Didn't have a spotter. but we survived, just barely. I think I did 2 working sets here, and then we will move on to dips. I use a machine to do dips. You could do bodyweight dips as well if you'd like. And this is an exercise you can very easily go to failure or past failure as well. I usually do some cheat reps, some partials at the end here, you'll see. And this works really well for hitting your triceps. I usually like to bend my elbows a little bit more to get more tricep and to avoid using your front delt so much. I used to get pain in my shoulders, actually, like pain in my front delt from getting such a big stretch while doing these, but I started to bend my elbow more instead of bringing my elbow behind me and feel it more in my tricep. I think I did 2 working sets here. You'll notice at the end I go to failure, do some partials, and then I did some negatives where I just pretty much use my body weight to bring the weight down, and then I just resist it as it goes up. Turned out to be a pretty long set, but my triceps felt amazing after this. Well, pretty solid pump today, not terrible. Like I said, my first workout back after a 2-week break with poor diet, so I gotta shift gears here. But I had been bulking for about 3 weeks before that trip, gained about 5 pounds in that time, went from 160 to 165. I left at 165 and then came back home at 160 again. So we're basically back where we were before the bulk started. But it's okay, we will begin bulking back to 170 once again, and we will get there eventually. I'm aiming for, in the next 8 to 12 weeks, should be at a solid 170, and then we will stay at 170 and just recomp there back to like 10% body fat or wherever I'm sitting at right now. So that is the plan. All right, that is going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, make sure to comment what you want to see more of. Yeah, until next time, love you guys.